Welcome to our tutorial on how to make a Fortnite montage using Shotcut. In part 3, we'll be looking at how to add simple effects. In parts 1 and 2, we learned how to add clips, how to sort of merge clips so that they transition, and how to remove voice or unwanted noise from our video tracks. We can see that we've got all my clips laid out here. I've added some audio where I've removed voice, I've put in some fades and so forth. All this is covered in parts 1 and 2. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to focus on a couple of clips from a Team Rumble game. Let's bring up the clips and have a look. Oh, nice snipe. So in these 3 clips, I actually killed the same person. So these were my first 3 kills, and I killed this person 3 times, one after each elimination. So what I want to do is highlight that fact. So in this clip, I'm going to find the bit where I actually eliminated them and the text comes up. Okay, there we are. And I'm going to add an effect to this. So I'm going to get the point I really want where the text is pretty static. And I'm going to split the video track here using split at playhead. Now I'm going to focus on the remainder of this clip. We're going to highlight this area here, and we're also going to zoom in. So if we go to filters, make sure this part of the clip is selected. I'm looking for a filter that's called size, position, and rotate. Now I've got it in my favorites. If you don't have it in your favorites, you'll find it in the video list of filters. There we go. So what I want to do is zoom in on this name. So these are the attributes associated with this filter, and I'm going to click on this icon here, which brings up the Keyframes dialog. So this is a way to vary these parameters as the clip is progressing. So at the start of my clip, I don't want any zoom. And at the end of this particular part of the clip, if we go back to the timeline, you'll see it's just before the next clip transition. So at the end of this part, I want to have zoomed in by 100%. So I'm going to set this to be 200. So now you can see that this is zoomed in and we can see the name more clearly. So this is the first effect. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, you can see that it zooms in on that particular area. Great. Let's look again. Okay, this is what I need. What I want to do now is highlight this area. So to do this, I'm going to go back to the video track and add a new video track. Now, the way I'm going to highlight is to use a mask. So what I'm going to add is a color, and it's a black color. So if you bring that up into the viewer, similarly to any clip, you can just drag it down into the timeline. So I'm going to drag it over this portion of the clip. I'm going to adjust the size. There we go. Now, if we move the cursor over here, all you see is a black screen because that's how this works. So what I want to do now is change the opacity of this particular black clip. So if I go to filters, again, I've got this in my favorites, but you can find it in video. Search for opacity. There's the filter. I'm going to change this to be about 50%, which will make it sort of semi-transparent. Okay, there you can see now that you can see the actual video footage below the black sort of track, but it's much duller than without the black clip. So I'm going to use this now to apply a mask. So let's go to filters again. Let's add mask. So again, you search, you see mask simple shape. And when I select this and I bring the cursor over the clip area, you'll see that it creates a black box. So what I'm going to do is change this operation to subtract, and it actually creates a brighter box in this particular area. So that's how I'm going to highlight. So all I need to do now is move this box to be over the text and again adjust its position as we zoom in. So I'm going to do this again using keyframes. So I'm going to look at the position of the box. So let's start with its vertical position. I'll click the keyframe icon. That'll bring up the keyframe dialog. I want to make sure I'm at the end of the clip. Okay, and we can see that the vertical position needs to be lower. So using the slider, I'm going to bring the box down to cover the text. So I'm just going to adjust that to be a specific number. That looks good. Let's go to the beginning of the clip. Okay, let's now work on the width keyframe. So you can see in the keyframes dialog, I've got another entry there for width. It's a little hidden. And I didn't actually make the adjustment for the vertical box at the beginning of the clip. Just going to do that in the actual keyframe track there. Okay, I'm going to enter that value, that looks okay. Just move the dot when that takes effect at the beginning of the clip. I can just drag it there. And then we'll move on to width. Let's make sure we're at the beginning of the clip. So the width looks pretty good, but it probably could be a little less. Okay, let's make that 8. Okay, let's go to the end of the clip. So I just go back 1 frame to make sure I'm right at the end after using the button that skips between clips. So we need to change the width here. That looks okay, so now let's move on to the next part we need to adjust, which is the height. So again, we'll go back to the beginning of the clip. You can see that height's now been added in the keyframes track. Okay, let's enter a value for height. That looks pretty good. Let's go to the end of the clip. Let's adjust the height. Small adjustment here. Okay, that looks pretty good too. Okay, so I think that's everything we need now. We can play this and see what it looks like. So we're back in the timeline, and here we go. So you can see now that our highlighted text area zooms in as we zoom in on the text. That's the desired effect. Great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply a similar effect and transformation to the second clip. So I'm going to find the point where the elimination text pops up. Okay, there's a good spot, I think, to split. So like we did before, I'm going to split at playhead. Now, what I can actually do is I can copy this transformation and paste it. So I've done a Control-C for copy. I'm making sure I've selected the right video track so that this gets copied into V2 at the top, which it has. And now I've saved myself a bit of work. The good thing about this is that the text in the actual clip when you eliminate somebody in Fortnite is always going to be in the same kind of place, so that's why this kind of works. Okay, I just realized that we didn't apply the zoom filter to the actual clip, so I'll do that like we did before. Let's go to the beginning of the clip, go to keyframes, go to the end, go back 1 frame, make this 200. Okay, we can see that the elimination highlight is in the right spot. We don't have to worry about that. So now that's done. That saves us some work, and we can do a similar thing in the third clip as well. So let's do that, split at playhead, and similarly, I've added that transformation now. So I'll just check that works. Okay, that looks pretty good. So what does this look like when you put them all together? It looks like this. And here's another set of clips I had as well. So you can see when the video is actually rendered, the transformation is a lot cleaner than it appears in Shotcut. So don't worry if when you're looking at this in the preview window, it seems a little jagged. Okay, I got him. Okay, I paid the price that time. There we are. Hopefully that was useful. In part 4, I'll be showing you how to add titles.